Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the 22nd session of the Engineering and Sustainability Committee. It's good to have you here, and if you're online, welcome too. And good afternoon and good evening if that's the times at your place of work there. So we've got quite a full agenda this morning, so I'm not going to hang around. So I'd like to welcome Francis to provide the welcoming address. Thank you.
Of course, also from me and the whole Secretariat, a warm welcome to Saint-Germain-en-Laye, to all of you here present and all our online participants as well. We have quite a lot of people online as well, which is a good system to have. I hope you have all enjoyed the break between the two committee meetings, some in the cold north, some in the warm south, but I surely hope that you are ready and rested for this busy week. As Alvin said, it's a full agenda also for the rest of the week, not only the opening, so you can focus on ENG matters and enjoy also a little bit springtime in Paris. It's a bit cold today, but it will be warmer. The sun will be here tomorrow, and we will get up to 19 degrees during the week here. So it has been very, very warm before, 27 degrees, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So I hope you can enjoy a little bit springtime in Paris as well. As I said, a busy agenda with lots of papers, and I read through them, all of them, and I noticed, of course, the increased focus on P&T. And that is, of course, very timely and important in this complex world we are living in. I just discussed with Maddie how complicated it is to live in the Middle East at the moment, and we have also problems in Europe as well, many problems. I know Denmark was without GPS for 15 minutes some time ago because a Russian frigate was playing around in the Baltic Sea. So P&T is really, really important, and it's very timely. I also noticed, of course, that good old Iala is coming back after some years on hold, which is also very interesting to see. So quite many input and initiatives on heritage, new guidelines, low-cost Iala compliant ATONs, and the important new sustainability working group. So many of these initiatives, I guess you can start the work now, but I guess you have to take some of these issues with you into the next work period, because there's a lot to do here. I also saw that the engineering committee, the good old engineering committee, is covering a very, very broad spectrum of Iala issues. And we really need your experts in all the different areas to guide us through this work. I noticed that during this week, you will cover everything from guano management. Thank you very much, William, for bringing this good old subject back to the engineering committee, to multi-constellation and multi-frequency satellite receivers. That's quite a gap, I would say. So good luck with that. There are so many well-written and well-structured input papers from participants. Again, China MSA could almost keep the committee busy for the whole week alone. But thank you very much for all these very, very important papers. It really reflects the dedication and intensive efforts between the committee meetings, and they are all very, very important for the committee. So thank you very much for that. I'm pleased to report that Iala is doing very well. We have now already 47 member states in Iala, with more expected to join soon. Since ENG21, we have been joined by Italy, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Ecuador, Brunei Darussalam, and Libya joined last week as member states. And Cameroon will actually join us later today, and they will deposit their ratification at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs later this week. So that will be member state number 48. And we have a total membership of around 344 members. The complex transition from the former Iala, the association, to the new Iala, the organization, has been completed, and all assets and liabilities have been transferred, and we have formally dissolved the old association in early January. So the good old Iala, the NGO, does not exist anymore. I have also signed a preliminary contract for the new headquarters just across the street. You can see here the white building, the cube here just across the street. And the purchase of this building is generously supported by the French government and the city of Saint-Germain-en-Laye. And we had the honor of receiving the Minister of the Sea and the Mayor of Saint-Germain-en-Laye here in the headquarters some weeks ago to celebrate the future start of the works on this new building. You can see the project is on the wall here outside in the corridor. So you can see how we are planning this new building. The new headquarters should be ready summer period next year. So that means that all the committee meetings in March and April next year will be hosted outside of the headquarters, and we already have received many kind offers from member states to host these meetings, and it will be decided by the council in June, and then we can publish the dates and the venues of the meetings in the spring next year. The next symposium, Iala Symposium, is scheduled for February 2029, and an invitation to host this symposium has been issued to all the member states, and we can hopefully also announce exact dates and host after the council meeting in June. Also, please remember the interesting Digital at Sea North America conference hosted by RTCM the 4th to 7th May in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and also the World Age to Navigation Day in Korea, Busan, 16 to 17 July. I'm sure Mike, where are you? Mike will tell us more about that during the week. And there's also an input paper with more details on the World Age to Navigation Day. So as mentioned, you have a busy and exciting week, and I look forward to seeing you all during the week and also at the soirée tomorrow evening. So all for me is to say bon courage, good luck with all these different subjects you have during the week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Of course, Guano and GNSS do have one thing in common, which is they're both signals from the sky. So that's it. So thank you very much. And yes, I hope the weather does improve as well. And we've got the promise, so it'll definitely happen. So the next agenda item is the approval of the agenda. That's input document 121, if you have already seen it. If everyone's happy with that, I'm going to add one item on the work plan for 2027 to 2030 later on this morning, but that'll be a short addition to the agenda this morning. Nobody is unhappy about that. We'll accept that. Okay. We'll now move on to apologies and introductions. I've received one apology from ENG. If there are any more, can you let either myself or Alisa know? We'll have that recorded in the minutes of the meeting. Traditionally, we go around the room for introductions on the individual basis, but we're a little bit short of time this morning. We've got quite a packed agenda. So if I can ask that the working group chairs can do that within their working groups later on today, I think that would be quite helpful. But just for the benefit of the committee and to understand who's in the room, I'd just like to if go through the member countries that are in the room, and I'll go through the countries. If you can raise your hand, regardless of your membership status, just so that we know who's here. So so Argentina. So who's Argentina? Oh, there we go. There we go. Australia. Okay. Bahrain. Brazil. Okay. Cameroon. Hello. Canada. Oh, over there. Yeah. Chile. Online, maybe. Online. Okay. China. Denmark. Estonia. Finland. Okay. France. Germany. Ireland. Ireland, thank you. Italy. Japan. South Korea. Morocco. Oh, there you go. Hello to you. Netherlands. Norway. Poland. Portugal. No, online. Okay. Russia. Singapore. Spain. Sweden. Turkey. United Kingdom. United States. No. Online, perhaps. Is anybody that any country I haven't mentioned that's in the room? Iceland.
Ukraine.
Ukraine. You're all welcome. Thank you very much. You'll have an opportunity to do your individual introductions in a working group later on, but thank you very much. So I'll then move on to the next agenda item, which is the working arrangements. So Elisa, I'll hand over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. You're always welcome here, and thank you for your stable contributions to Iala work. It's very, very valuable. Thank you. So let's start with the working arrangements and the main information that will be important for us during this week. So first of all, we are recording our meeting. So please, if you're participating online, mute your microphone off and switch off your camera unless you are speaking to the plenary as a whole. And please make sure that your name is reflecting to your name, surname, and the name of your organization and the name of your country, because it's important for us to appropriately manage it in the final report of the committee. So before we start, I'll mention some policies that would be important for your work during this week. So Iala General Data Protection Policy. Iala complies with the European Union General Data Protection Regulations. A list of participants, including email addresses, will be included in the report of this meeting and may also appear in the other committee-related platforms. Any participants who doesn't wish their contact details to be shared should inform the committee secretary as soon as possible. Iala patent policy. If participants have knowledge of any patents, including pending patents applications, either their own or of other organizations or individuals, the use of which may be required to practice or implement the content of Iala documents being developed or worked on in the meeting, please advise the Iala Secretariat as soon as possible. So our general information about registration and administrative stuff. So first of all, please make sure you're registered. This is important. First of all, if you don't have your badge, that might cause some questions, but please make sure you're your badge is correct, you're using it during the week, so all participants familiar with your name and represented country and organization. And please don't forget to leave your badge at the end of the week, because it's also important for us to prepare that for your next participation. Also, if you need any general information like technical catalog or any Iala publications, you may find it near reception on the table, but if not, also you can inform me anytime. Hello, Lea. So, yeah. About group photo, we will have a group photo on Tuesday during the morning coffee break. Soiree we will have on Tuesday evening from 5:30 to 7:30 in the lunch area. So thank you very much for bringing your tastes, things from your countries. If you need the Wi-Fi network, also you will see around the QR codes, and you will see the login and password, so that would be easier to connect. And don't forget, please, that office hours, so office will close at 5:30. So please consider your work and the working groups. That's important for us also to prepare the plenaries for tomorrow. To register for the work during this week in working group, that will reflect then in our report, please use the QR code. So you see it here on the table, you see it on another table, it's also on the screen. So please use this QR code to reflect appropriately your contributions to the working group work. So then I will briefly show you the website, and we will continue with the task register later. So our main area is a website committee dashboard. I'm sharing my screen. So our area of work is ENG. All the information that will be needed during the week is here. So as far as we will discuss the schedule for the presentation, I will update here also the screen of the presentation, so you will clearly know when and where what is happening. Action plan, with action plan, we are working in the task register, so that we will explain later in the under the appropriate agenda item. The calendar will help us to connect to all the work of during the week, like working groups, opening plenary, closing plenary, physical week, and so on. Resources that would be something useful for you if you need any search in Iala publications or calendar things. So yeah, this might be useful information for you. Approval, that would be a table. So now we see the table from the previous meeting, but here will be a table for this week. On Thursday evening, we will see the documents under silent approval that appropriately will be reviewed and commented. File share, it's your main and self-mained, so you can use this area as much as you wish. So under the ENG22, I prepared for you the input papers, working papers, timetable, and 2 templates for the guideline and recommendation that Christina will explain you later. So, and that's it on this moment. Thank you. I'm hand over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is any comments or questions on any of that? If not, obviously, just feel free to come to any of us, and we'll guide you to the right place if you need some information. Thank you very much. So we'll move on then to the program of the week. This is just a quick overview for the week. So we have the opening plenary until 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll have a coffee break in about 40 minutes. Then we'll break up into the working groups. The working groups can have their plenaries after lunch at 2 o'clock. And then the presentations will take place in the working groups either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We've got the agenda for those will be shown later on today. Oh, well, there it is. Efficient as ever. And then we'll be in the working groups for the week, and then we'll have the closing plenary, or the close of the physical plenary on Friday morning. Do you have anything else to add? No. We'll have as Elise said, we've got the soiree tomorrow evening, and we'll also have the committee dinner. Michelle, do you have a?
Yes, we'll have the committee dinner on Wednesday, and for once, it's already defined. And we will meet at Le Jules, a restaurant in the center of Saint-Germain, at 7:30 on Wednesday evening. And we already decided about the menu, so please, if you are intending to join or to attend this committee dinner, please fill the form that will be on the main desk of the secretariat here, and you will have to choose between 3 starters, 3 main courses, and 3 desserts, and for 50 euros for the menu. So please fill this form, which will be on the main desk on the secretariat. Thank you. Before tomorrow noon, I think. We need this information before tomorrow noon.
Okay, so if you'd like to go to that, tomorrow noon is the deadline to get your name on this form. Thank you. Okay. Any comments or questions on the program of the week? No? Okay, thank you. We'll move on then to a review of the action items from the last meeting. So do we have the action items? Okay, so these are the action items from ENG21. I think most of the action items for the Secretariat have been completed. I think there's one that's outstanding. So the one action item was for the Secretariat to send, which one is it? The 2110, that was not sent to the council. There was a review that we'll talk about, quality control review, and that's come back into this meeting for further work. So we'll talk about that later on. Any other comments on the Secretariat's action items? No. We won't go through the action items for individuals or organizations. I'll assume that the working group chairs will go through those in their appropriate working groups. Okay. Any comments or questions on the action items from ENG21 or previous committees? No? Okay. Thank you. We'll then move on to a review of the input papers into this meeting. Is it? Yeah.
Just please, I invite you to update the list of input papers once again, because that was updated today morning with a very, very late inputs. So everything appropriately managed in Nextcloud and on the website. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So then we've got quite a lot of input papers, as is always the case. A lot of really great stuff, as Francis alluded to earlier, and you're definitely not going to be short of work this week, that's for sure. Some very interesting technical papers on lights I saw earlier, and there's the SIDS project that's going to be, there's a presentation on that, I believe, later on this week. A lot for working group 2, and particularly again, as Francis mentioned, alternative to GNSS, and in particular to do with Iala. And working group 3 are equally covered with input documents. There's no doubt that you're going to be quite busy going through all those. There is also an input paper that I'd like to draw your attention to, which is the one on sustainability matters and the report from the sustainability workshop. We'll talk a little bit more detail later on, but I just thought I'd take the opportunity just to bring that to your attention at this point. Any comments or questions on the input papers? I think the chairs went through these input papers about 2-3 weeks ago, and just double check that they were allocated to the right working group. If you've got any concerns, just let us know. Okay, thank you. So the next agenda item is reports from other bodies, and we'll start with Iala, and I'd like to invite Minsu to provide us an update on matters relating to the Iala Council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. So good morning all. First agenda is a brief updates from the third session of the Iala Council. The council meeting was held from 8 to 12 December 2025.
Claro, aquí
en
sigo.
Mumbai,
Si en algún
in
momento
India with a
necesitas que
hybrid
traduzca algo o te
participation.
ayude con alguna idea de la conferencia,
Some
solo
of the
dímelo.
councillors
Estoy aquí
joined the
para
meeting
apoyarte.
online, and there were a few observers present, including the representatives from Portugal, Tunisia, Qatar, Oman, and Russia. The council discussed the governance, policy, finance, and a substantial number of the technical matters. Let me cover the first part of the governance and policy. The council took several important decisions, including approval of the revised STEP rule and adapted policy on the submission and co-sponsoring of the documents to other international organizations. The council also reviewed the financial situation based on the treasurer's report and approved the updated committee work program for 2025 and 2027. In addition, council endorsed the continued work on the concept of Iala Center of Excellence and asked the Secretariat to develop a formal framework covering the governance, designation criteria, timeline, and integration into the work program. For the documents approved by the council, firstly, from ARM committee, there were 3 documents approved. The first one was recommendation 1026 on digitalization of the marine age navigation and services for vessels varying levels of autonomy. This new recommendation provides harmonized guidance on the digitalization of the marine age navigation and related services, supporting the vessels across all the levels of autonomy, from the conventional ships to fully autonomous operations. Second paper was guideline 1087 on the Iala domain under the IHO GI registry. The revised guideline updates and modernize the procedures governing the main management of the Iala domain with the IHO GI registry. And the last one from the ARM was the new guideline 1194 on the drone operations for marine age navigation and VTS infrastructure management. This new guideline provides a practical and harmonized guidance on the safety and effective use of drones for inspection, monitoring and maintenance of marine age navigation and VTS infrastructure. It supports the members in adapting modern technology-enabled operational practices by addressing safety, regulatory compliance, and operational procedures and the data management, while promoting consistent and scalable drone use across the regions. As many members are now incorporating drones into their routine ATON and VTS operations, there has been very strong demand for formal Iala guidance. This guideline responds to that need by offering a structured framework that supports safe introduction and scalable adoption and harmonize the practices across the different regions. So in terms of the ENG documents, the revised recommendation 146 on the strategy for maintaining RACON service capability, this recommendation provides a streamlined and a modern strategy for maintaining RACON service capability in today's radar environment. Second one was a recommendation 101 on marine RACON. The revised recommendation restructures the documents into a clear and purely normative technical standards for marine RACONs. And last one was a guideline 1074 on branding and marketing of heritage lighthouses. The revised edition 1.2 of the guideline introduced editorial corrections only, with no changes to technical contents of the recommended practices. In terms of the VTS-related documents, 4 documents were approved. Recommendation 1012 on VTS communications. This recommendation updates guidance on the harmonized VTS communications to edition 1.3, maintaining alignment with the IMO Resolution 1158. The second one was guideline 1156, recruitment, training, and certification of the VTS personnel. So this revised guideline introduced minor corrections to ensure consistency with the updated numbering of the VTS model courses. The third one was a VTS English communication competency testing. This new guideline established a comprehensive, globally harmonized framework for addressing the English communication competency of VTS operators. And the last one was a simple update on the model course 103-5, revalidation of the training for VTS personnel. And from DTEC committee, 2 documents were approved. The first one was a recommendation 144 on harmonized implementation of ASM. These documents modernized the guidance on the harmonized implementation of ASM, reflecting the major technological and regulatory developments since the original AIS-only framework. Another document was guideline 1191, Maritime Service Registry, technical specification. This revised guideline delivers a significantly enhanced and implementation-ready technical specification for the Maritime Service Registry. In terms of the events, workshop, and appointments, the Council also took a number of decisions related to events and organizational appointments. It approved the third joint IHO-Iala workshop on S100 and 200, validation and implementation, and also as well as the Digital SE International Seminar scheduled for March 2026 at Iala headquarters. As Secretary General introduced, this event was successfully held last month. And in terms of the appointment, Council appointed Thomas Ackles as the chair of the lab and Tiago da Silva Benavent as a vice chair of the lab. And also following a voting session, Trond Shi from Norway as a vice chair of the VTS committee. And also the Council agreed to move forward with the preparation for the 15th Iala Symposium in January 2029. The Council approved the proposal to host the main events of the World Marine Age Navigation Day 2026 in the Republic of Korea, and the proposal to host the World Marine Age Navigation Day 2027 in Georgia. The Council approved the proposal from ENG on the revision of the Heritage Lighthouse of the Year selection rules, including the expanding eligibility to associate members, adjusting the timing of the celebration to better align with the World Marine Age Navigation Day events and modifying the deliberation schedule for future accolades. The Council also decided Evangelitas Lighthouse from Chile will receive the Iala Heritage Lighthouse of the Year 2026 accolade. So congratulations to Chile. In terms of the liaison notes, the Council approved the 3 liaison notes, as you can see on the screen. And lastly, the Council noted, due to the new Iala headquarters building projects, no meeting space will be available at Iala headquarters in the first of 2027. I think this part was already addressed by the Secretary General. So, so this is a bit briefly the information to the committee to note. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Min-Soo. Any comments or questions for Min-Soo on matters arising from the Iala Council? There's been a lot going on, actually. There's lots of interesting ideas being considered there, that's for sure. Okay, no further comments or questions. So we'll move on then to the next agenda item, which is the Policy Advisory Panel, or PAP. Hand over to you again, Min-Soo.
Thank you, Chair. The PAP 60 session was held from 2 to 6 February 2026 in Iala HQ. The session focused primarily on strengthening organizational coherence following the transition to an IGO status. Just a kind of summary of the outcomes of the PAP. First one was on the digitalization. There was a shared recognition that while significant work is progressing across all the committees, it has largely developed in a bottoms-up manner. So the meeting agreed that the DTEC task, which is specifically 711, which is developing Iala strategy on digitalization, should now evolve into organizational-wide strategic reference documents. So the intention is to provide a clearer overarching framework for Iala's digital work ongoing forward. Second one was MRN. Regarding MRN responsibilities were clarified. The core technical governance and structural oversight sit within DTEC, while ARM will develop an implementation guide in the context of S201. The clarification helps to ensure consistency and avoid overlap between the committees. And on S200 implementation, technical progress continued across multiple product specifications. However, there was an issue raised on the practical challenges during the development of the products, particularly concerning the definitions and data harmonization. As a result, PAP agreed that the dictionary and terminology alignment should be revisited to support interoperability and the training. And finally, sustainability work has now been structured more formally. I think this is up to a discussion to this committee about the new working group on sustainability. And one of the key objectives is to prepare a concise and outward-facing sustainability documents for the 2027 conference. And looking ahead, in addition to these governance and technical matters, Thursday of the PAP week was dedicated to a one-day strategic vision workshop. During this session, PAP reviewed Iala's long-term strategic direction and examined key drivers and trends affecting the organization. These included digital transitions, autonomy, resilient PNT, sustainability pressures, and evolving international regulatory environment. So the purpose of the workshop was not to make immediate decisions, but to gather a structured insight that will inform the future strategic development of the organization. On the MCP, the feasibility study is planned to be conducted by a DTEC committee, and the focus remains on the governance models, liability considerations, and operational implications and scope. The fundamental question remains whether operating on MCP instance fall within the Iala's mandate. So PAP confirmed that the study should proceed without altering its direction at this stage. Finally, an important development concerns Iala's strengthened relationship with IMO. So two organizations signed an MOU for mutual cooperation, and both the Secretary General met last month, and this might create opportunities for more proactive technical engagement. That's the summary from the PAP. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Min-Soo. Any questions on the output of PAP? Any comments? We will talk about the new working group shortly. Put that aside. No. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on then to the next agenda item, which is workshop outputs and actions. And the first one is the sustainability in ATOM provision. Can we bring up the... So, as I'm sure you all recall, we had the sustainability workshop in Plenario Island in October last year. I thought it was very successful, but we weren't able to get the report out for the ENG21. So one of the input documents is the formal report for that workshop. If you haven't read it, I strongly encourage you to read it. It's a really good report, covers a lot of matters, and in particular, there were 5 conclusions which are actually on the screen right now, and really it was realized that sustainability isn't a one-shot thing. It's something that needs to continuously develop, and not only does it need to continuously develop, but it's an all-encompassing subject matter. It should encompass everything that Iala does, and therefore it's not just sits in one committee to achieve. However, there is a practical element to this as to how do we actually do this. And there were 2 ideas being considered. One, which is to form like a task force similar to that used for MAS, to try and bring members from all the committees to discuss sustainability matters, or to have a new working group within this committee, and invite members of the other committees to attend the ENG committee to carry out that work. It was discussed at PAP, and the decision was to have a working group within this committee. So as a consequence of that, I created an input paper that's gone to all technical committees to inform them of that decision, but also to provide information as to how this working group will actually carry out its work. Obviously, this is the first time we've had an opportunity to talk about this within the committee. So the intention is for in October, so not in this session, but in October, there will be a new working group 4 to work on sustainability. It is recognized that there is only 2 sessions before the end of the work plan, before we go into the conference end of next year. So the amount of work that's going to be output is going to be fairly limited. We accept that. However, there is a lot of work to be carried out. The first work that needs to be done is to work out what within the current work plan that falls under the topic of sustainability. And in the annex of the input document is a first stab at the type of work that working group will be doing. Some of it is already within what we do within the ENG committee, and we need to think about how the existing work will fit within the new working group and vice versa. But perhaps in a more complex way is that a lot of the work crosses many committees, which is why we're hoping that there will still be representation of the other committees at the working group, because we don't want to step on their toes, as it were, when we come to matters of sustainability. But we have to recognise that it's not something that it's purely an ENG committee matter. It is meant for the whole, the total range of subjects that Iala deals with. I'm not going to go through this list. I'll leave that to you in your own time. But the intention is for the working group to start digesting this information, producing a plan of action on how to deal with the sustainability matters for the future. The other topic that was raised by Minsu is the outward-facing documents, like a publicity document on sustainability. It's an opportunity to really say, this is what we're doing, and this is the plan. The working group will obviously have a major input into that document, and it'll be one of the early outputs from that working group. So if you're interested in taking part in that working group or having an input onto that document, please consider joining work group 4, and that will take place in October. One thing we don't have at the moment is a chair for the working group. So if you are interested in chairing that working group, or your organization is, please can you let me know by the end of May, I think is the deadline in the input paper. I think this is a really exciting opportunity to really put Iala on the map on how to deal with matters of sustainability. And that's a very wide topic in itself, quite frankly. But it's a really good subject matter. There's a lot of interest in this. It covers a wide range of topics. So if any of you are interested in that, please consider joining that. Any comments or questions on that subject matter, on the new working group within ENG on sustainability? No? We're all happy. Good. The only thing that I am a little bit concerned with is for the next meeting, we might have difficulty with space. If I'm anticipating more people coming to ENG as a consequence of this. It might be a tight squeeze, but we can work it out. We'll be okay. No problem. Okay. If there's no other comments or questions on that, I will move on then to the next workshop, which is the future radio communication, radio navigation. Hideki, are you able to provide a...
Thank you, Owen. This workshop is held in Edinburgh from the first to second week of February. It is very good workshop and very many findings, especially regarding radio navigation systems. We found that nowadays it's as already Secretary General introduced, there's a significant problem for GNSS interference. So we recognize that there is a need of course, terrestrial radio navigation systems, but also we recognize as well as our radio navigation systems, but conventional H2 navigation, like right earth and right buoy, it is still significant rule for kind of the backup of the GPS. So it's many seafarers still use these rights as a positioning for this one. So this is a very good result. But also we found that some new development in some field, not only GNSS, but nowadays, as you know well, that like Starlink or such low Earth orbit satellite, including Iridium, also now considering to provide PNT service for using it's a different frequency from GNSS services, and so there is a much more wider use in the future. But this, especially mobile telephone technique, is now we discussed in a special DT committee for how to incorporate maritime requirement for these new satellite services. So this is good movement. So nowadays, DTEC is maybe considering to establish a new working group for especially using a mobile telephone technique to use in the AC navigation field, including a PNT services. That's a very kind of summary for that, but you can find detailed report in our homepage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, very interesting workshop. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but I know some of my colleagues were able, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. Any comments or questions on the workshop or its outputs? Okay, thank you very much, Hideki. We'll move on then to the work plan and the task register. Are you...
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. So I'll briefly show you our task register and how we will organize our work this week. So the easiest way to find the link to Iala task register, it's ENG dashboard and action plan. So you will always be able to find here a link. Yeah, it's here. Another way is just to go to the Google and write Iala task register. It's also very easy. And also it was shared with you by emails with the instruction how to prepare for the committee work. So first of all, we will see on the screen the work program. But for us, it's important to know the task plan and the action plan. So work program is for all 4 committees. Task plan, it's a list of tasks for ENG committee, and action plan, it's a current list of tasks for this session. So I invite you to use, first of all, action plan during this week. Important thing here, you will see the links to each meeting room. Near the title of working group, you will see the name of the task. You can always go to update to see the task description. Also, task group leaders and working group chairs will be able to update the task description inside logging in. And also you will see the contacts of the task group leaders and venue. So venue for the current task. You also see the status of the task, how we progress on, and this is something that task group leaders and working group chairs are managing for you. So thank you, working group chairs, for preparing it in advance. If any questions, you are very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see quite a lot are on track, which is very reassuring. Any comments or questions on the action plan or the task plan? Are you all happy about how to access this? I see nodding. Okay, that's good then. If not, just ask one of us, and we'll point you in the right direction. The next agenda item I've added is the 2027-2030 work plan. So this is more just to let you know the council's looking to the new work plan. Is that time in the cycle where we need to think about what work the committees are going to be carrying out in the new work plan. To that end, myself and Michelle are going to meet with the chairs and vice chairs of the working group this week to understand what work we're likely to finish in this work plan, and what's going to be the priority for the next work plan. I'm conscious that you'll notice that the work plan is now not 4 years, but 3 years. So it's a shorter work plan than what we're used to if you're involved in the association. And it's slightly shorter than normal, again, due to the timing of the conference. So we've only got 4 sessions in the new work plan. So we're going to be have to be quite severe, I guess, with what work are we likely to be able to complete in that time. And we're going to try and prioritize as hard as possible to make sure that the work that we have got planned is realistic. But I'm conscious that a lot of work takes time to develop and so on, so we don't want to lose that either. But if there is some work that you'd like to be carried out that isn't currently in the work plan, then please talk to your working group chairs about whether that's something that could be included in the next work plan. It won't be finalized this week. It's just a first understanding of what the work could contain. I believe we need to do it by next October, is that correct? So we'll be refining it at ENG23. The difficulty in this is that be when a new working group will start, so we may have to just take a guess at what the sustainability working group will want to do. But hopefully we'll have at least a working group chair for sustainability, and they'll have their view, I'm sure. So is there any questions or comments on the work plan from 2027 to 2030? No? Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at the time. It's coming up to 11 o'clock. I'll suggest that before we go further, we stop for a coffee break. And if we reconvene at 11:30 local time. Thank you.